Hi, everybody, and welcome to my channel. Thank you so much for tuning in. Welcome, everyone. Welcome, babe. Touch of Midas. In today's live, we're going to be covering the topic about welcome, babe. Touch of Midas. We're going to be touching up on the topic about the youth in Gambia and why we need their help. And I want to introduce Alagie Jawara to this chat to discuss this with him. I don't know if anyone remembers him from one of my last videos, but I'm going to go ahead and invite him in. And we're going to do this interview because I feel like it's important throughout the world, and especially in Africa, to kind of have the youth on board with growing a nation. I feel like it's really important to have the youth, and because the youth basically is the future, you know? So I'm going to put the link out there for Alaji, and we're going to welcome him in and see what we got going on. And then all you'd have to do is just click on the link, and it should take you straight to the live, and then I'll add you in. So yeah, I feel like it's really important when it comes to the youth inside of a nation, inside of a country, any country, but in particular, I'm just going to be talking about the Gambia because obviously, you know, that's part of Africa, and that's where I'm going to be living. So how important is the youth inside of our nation? If we want to grow an economy, if we want to grow the basically implement new rules, okay? If we want to do that, we have to look up to the youth, and we kind of have to have the youth on board. So if most of the youth is distracted or is not on board in helping to give back to the country, it actually has a big effect on the country in itself. And this is a really important topic, and that's why I feel like covering it. So let me see, because it seems like we might be having some technical difficulties. See if he can come in here. And yeah, so while we wait for Alaji Jawara, I will just go ahead and start talking about it. So like I was saying, you know, the youth basically has the influence on the future. Like the youth basically has the actual, you know, I mean, it's really simple. When in the future, when time comes, tradition is important. Tradition is important, but it's also important to be up to date. It's important to be up to date. It's important to be associated with the modern times, because if you're not associated with the modern times, what could end up happening is you'll be left back behind as an economy. So it's up to the youth to really go ahead and set up that, you know, that standard of how things should be in the future. And it's also up to the old heads to basically teach the youth as well, so that the youth can know what to carry on into the future. But at the same time, there has to be an equal balance, because you're also talking about a world that's always transforming and growing and evolving, right? We're constantly evolving as humans, and we're constantly evolving the way that we live, our societies, and we have to be able to catch up and evolve without being too stuck into the past and too lost inside of tradition. So there's a really, really important balance that comes to play along with that. So since it looks like we're having some technical difficulties, I'm going to go off on here and just try to figure out how to get him in here. And I'll be back, unfortunately. And then afterwards, after I post the live, I'll cut this part out, basically. Okay, I'm so sorry I had to put you guys on hold. So Alaji Jawara is having some technical difficulties right now, but he should be tuning in. Something I don't know if you guys that are tuning in that want to help can help with trying to get it onto the laptop or onto the desktop, but that's not working for him. So we're just going to go ahead and he's going to use his phone. And everything's still going to be on schedule and we're still on point. So yeah, like I was talking about, when it comes to the youth, I feel like this is a really important thing to discuss, really important topic. And once again, I want to welcome everybody in for tuning in. And let me see, put the link out again. Hmm. All right, and thank you everybody for your patience. I'm so sorry that you guys are just listening to quietness right now. Um, Basically, once I'm done with the live, I'll cut all this part out, but I can't restart the live again, so I just have to go like this. So yes. Um, yep. So let's see if he comes in. We'll give it about 3 minutes and see if he can figure it out. And then we'll go from there. All right. Hi, Alaji. How are you?
I'm good. Hi, Bruno. Sorry about that, man.
Welcome.
Oh man, crazy. I'm not used to this, so it's asking me all that questions. I don't know. How you
Yeah,
doing?
that's okay. A little bit of technical difficulties is no problem. It's all right.
Yeah,
We're still gonna make it happen.
I know. So can you hear me though clearly, right?
Yes, I can hear you. I can see you. So let's go ahead and get started. You want to introduce yourself? Introduce yourself. Where are you from?
Can
What do you do? And things of that nature.
yeah, absolutely. Hi everybody. Greetings to everybody out there. My name is Alaji Jawara. I'm a Gambian from the Gambia, West Africa. I'm currently living in Washington State, Seattle, Washington. Yeah, basically, yeah, that's all about it. I don't want to know about it.
Well, what do you do? What do you do? You have a YouTube channel, right?
Oh, yeah, that too. I have a
You're a
YouTube
host.
channel. Basically, it's not about. We have a team. We have a team that young people, young Gambians, all from Gambia, we came with this YouTube channel that we what we do actually is we try to motivate our people, inspire people, especially people who are living in the diaspora, uh, because we feel like we not communicate, and if you know Africa, you know our forefathers, our ancestors, what they used to do back then, they used to sit in the bantabas. If you don't know what a bantaba is, it's probably like a in American setup. You can just say the barbershop, you know. So
Yeah,
they
okay.
sit there, yeah, have conversations between themselves. You know, issues that are happening in our communities. They solve it. They don't have police stations back then. All they do is, talk about it. And of course, they have the village leaders. If things escalate to certain levels, they take it to the village alcalde. We call it in Gambia. We call it alcalde. That means the village leader.
Okay.
And
Can you
so
turn your volume up a little bit?
if you're like
Sorry.
right now, I'm
Um,
not doing.
can you turn your volume up a little bit, or possibly
Now
maybe
is
your
it
hand is covering the mic?
the bite? Oh shit! This thing is kind of.
I know this is why you wanted to use your desktop with your fancy microphone.
Yeah, that. Yeah, I know. Sure. It's all good.
It's okay.
All right. So can you hear me though?
Yes, I
Can
would
you
just
hear me?
suggest to talk a little bit louder.
Okay. I'm talking a lot. I don't know what happened. Let me get closer. All right. So how about now?
That's a lot better. Thank you.
That's a lot of better. Okay. Yeah, like I was saying, so we felt like, it's important for us to have that kind of conversations, within ourselves, especially we living in a diaspora here, in order to enlighten each other, to motivate each other to do better for our nation. And not only for our nation, but for Africa at large. That's why we came up with that initiative, that YouTube channel. It's going to be started not long ago, but thank God, it's going a little bit. Yeah, basically that's all about
Yeah. So it's like your channel is called Peer Talk. So it's mostly going to be
it. Yeah,
for the
yeah,
youth, right?
the youth, exactly, exactly.
Right. So this is kind of
So
what you
sometimes
promote.
yeah, that's what we promote. Like I said, I feel like the youth, we're not communicating, we're not talking to each other. There's a lot of things happening. You know, um, Especially in our communities, we promoting stuff that are actually not gonna impact our society in a good way. So we felt like we should be doing this. It's our role as young people, to start such conversations within ourselves, so that our young ones who are coming up can follow suit. Then we can have a community of conscious people. We can have a community of people who are going to make an impact on the lives of the others.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. It's really important to make sure that we have that communication within the youth, within the millennials, and really make sure that there's at least a good amount of youth that are moving in the right direction and trying to build the country and build the continent. And in this topic, build Gambia, right? So let's go ahead and just go on to the first topic here. I wrote it down here just so we can stay on topic, just in case things, you never know. Um, so the first thing I want to ask you is do you think that the Gambian youth is active enough towards building Gambia?
Absolutely. If you say that, I would definitely say that. Absolutely, we Gambian youth, they are very, very smart individuals. They're intelligent. They're hardworking individuals. You know, um, though we have our issues as well. When you look at the history of the Gambia, we've been through a lot, especially the youth. In every society, we all know the best valuable, the most valuable resource, the human resource. And on top of that ladder, the youth are on top of I can say on top of the pyramid when it comes to that. Because, so for example, if a country is a, it's like human being. I feel like the backbone are the youth. So those youth, we need to you know help them, achieve their dreams. Because they're gonna be the future leaders. I feel like Gambia, you know, politically we've been backwarded in a bit, because I know, going through the history of it, after colonization, after the British left the Gambia, actually they didn't leave us with anything. Our forefathers or founding fathers did a lot, to make sure, even though some people are critical of them, and me too, I definitely, we could do better, and anything we could do better, but they try to actually, to make sure that we have that education. Even though people were not receptive when it comes to education, a lot of our older people, because Gambia is, the majority are Muslims, and people feel like, if their kids go to school, they're gonna deviate from the religion, and they're gonna adapt the Western way of life. So that fear, and that, because consciousness about when it comes to education, they're not seeing the future. A lot of people are not seeing the future. Hey, this Western thing is something that, probably is going to be the thing. So for us to give our youth a better life, a better future, I think, it's important for us to, help them do that. A lot of them were not thinking like that. But then these founding fathers, they did a lot. They sensitized the elders. They sensitized the people to tell them that, hey, these are our future. We gotta make education a priority in our communities. So, subsequently, bit by bit, a lot of people, were educated, even though the population of education back then wasn't that much, but then, as time goes on, many young Gambians, uh, have been educated, but then even that education is just the high school education. Most of them, is just high school education. But back then too, the education was really powerful. It was quality compared to now is quantity. But they did well, try to achieve at least, you know, on their level, to take Gambia to a place that now we have a lot of graduates from primary level to PhD. So it's that question, I would say yes. And even not in Gambia, if you go outside, again, if Gambians go outside, they do great. They are in these top universities. You know, but the mindset too is affecting us because of the party. Like I said, we've been backwarded when it comes to politics. So a lot of people went outside, you know, and then okay, let me back up a little bit. Then after that, because I'm not trying to be political over here, but then some of these things we have to get to the root cause. The root causes so that people can understand the mindsets behind the Gambian youth. So after the Fourth Republic, then we have a coup d'etat. That is the military people took over the country, and everybody was, especially the youth, because they were youth. A lot of those military people, they were like under um, 30. The leader himself was 29 back then, and then youth like have hope. They had hope under new government because they're young people, and they had this um, saying that we about to change Gambia, we about to bring uh, you know peace. It was always peaceful, but development, and then good education. Everything that they promised that they're gonna do which makes the youth hopeful. But then on the contrary, it didn't happen like that. Instead they were even worse. You know, they were brutalizing the youth. Killing the students if they protest. You know, um, a lot of people were missing. You can't talk. You can't say nothing about the government. you know, everybody was
Yeah, dictatorship for real.
dictator. Yeah, so it was real, and you can't say nothing. And the smartest of the smartest, you know, can't even have access to education, good education, because back then they used to have scholarships. But now, if the government is going to give a scholarship, your dad or your family members probably going to be enablers of the government. If they're not part of the government or they don't like the government, you're not going to get it. And that deterred a lot of people who are like extremely intelligent, who can do better for the country. You know, it makes them not be able to have that opportunity to have that education. And
Okay, well, let me ask you something. Um,
yeah,
so, you're talking about how the youth was actually treated during the time, like the youth
right,
went through a lot. The proper
right,
foundation wasn't really laid out for the youth in the Gambia because of the dictatorship. You're talking about sometimes the kids were punished and just some negative things there. But do you feel like in this present time that that experience has caused some of the youth to get accustomed to
okay,
basically leaving Gambia and going outside of Africa as well and going to other countries and continents in order to further their education, in order to try and make a better life, in order to be successful, because they feel like it might be harder to be successful inside of their own country. Like they may feel like those platforms and those things that should allow them to succeed in their country is not really prominent. Like it's not really laid out for them. Like you talked about, like scholarships, you know, the process that you have to go through as a Gambian youth in order to actually get a scholarship was rare, to say the least, right?
right,
Um,
mhm,
so I feel like some of the troubles, when it comes to that is there not being a proper foundation and proper inspiration to feel like there is success and to feel like there's a lot of potential in the homeland. What would you say to that?
mhm, yeah. It's squeezing a little bit. I can't hear. I didn't hear most of it. Um, yeah, your voice was squeezing. I think that was the network. Couldn't hear everything that you're saying. But basically, from what I can hear, um, yeah, basically that was the case. People left because of that reason, and the people who act left a little, if your family or you don't have a background that's a little bit strong, it you cannot actually do nothing about it.
Okay, your voice is really low this time because now I can't even hear it. Your voice is very, very low.
I mean,
So I don't want you to like shout, into the camera, but
can I?
um, it's low.
Yeah,
Okay, I think you
I can
froze
hear you
there.
very well as well.
Okay, unfortunately, I think he's gonna try and come back in again. But if anybody else wants to come into the chat, the link is there. You're more than welcome to come in. You don't even have to show your face. If you think you have some input on this, you're more than welcome. So, like I was saying, and like Alaji was saying, I don't know if you guys could hear it, but basically, and this is not anything particularly on Gambian youth, because Africa as a whole have some differences, but they have a lot of similar experiences as well. And when it comes to the youth, that is something that is prominent throughout Africa. The fact that there isn't real guidelines or real foundations set up for the youth to feel like they can succeed where they are, for the youth to feel like, okay, I can grow where I've been planted, and it's not to say that as a youth, you shouldn't branch out and go to other countries. but it's to just instill some type of, it's really to instill some type of real mindset that even if you were to leave an African country and you were to go to diaspora, you can still actually invest into your country and give back to your country. It's about not really relying on the diaspora and giving all of what you have to the diaspora, because the country in itself, any nation, any country, any culture, any collective community of people on a land, the youth is really, really, really important in instilling and building for the future of that country. So that's kind of what I'm getting at here. So we have Alagie back, and then we also have Ori in here. Okay, hi Ori. I don't think I've ever seen you here. Welcome to the panel.
Hi, how you doing?
All right.
We're doing good.
Great.
What do you think about this question here? Is the Gambia youth active enough towards building Gambia?
Is that to Ori?
Yes, that's for you.
I'm just this is my first time trying to contact you. I live in the United States, but I'm from West Africa, Nigeria. Actually, I've been watching your program, and I've been having this interest with Gambia. Just fortunate, I come back from work, and I just check on the online, and I found you. So I was like, this might be a good opportunity for me to ask. I'm an investor. I'm a businessman. I've always been thinking of one of the African countries to kind of invest into, and Gambia has been coming into my mind. So I don't know if this my questions might be good to you, or is there any other show that can help me out with these questions?
Okay. It depends on what your question is, There's a lot of different programs. There's a lot of people that I'm pretty sure could help you, but it depends on what is your question, appropriate question. What is that question?
Like moving to Gambia to invest in and be living there, because I really want to move to Africa back.
Okay. And you're from the continent, right?
I'm from West Africa, Nigeria in particular.
Okay. So you need help to know how to go about doing that, or did you have a real specific question?
Yeah, just the processes.
The processing?
How to go about doing business there in Gambia.
Okay. Well, you know what? I can tell you my best tips. If you want to email me, my email is inside of the I don't know if it's inside this description box, but I'll put my email in the chat for you. And I can also refer you to some people that know a lot and have a lot of knowledge about that. But for right here, right now we're kind of focusing on a certain topic. So if you want to chime in on this topic, you can stay and talk about it. Otherwise, we can talk about some of the best tips for repatriating back to the country and which countries are the best and how to determine that for your own personal self. We can talk about those things off of the live, okay?
Okay. Yeah, I might listen to my partner there about what your topic is about today. If something I can contribute into.
Okay, then you can come back in when you have something.
Okay. Thank you very much.
You're very welcome. Bye. All right. So yeah, like we were saying, it's good, if anyone feels like they can help that man, Ori, make sure you reach out to him as well. But I'll try my best to also get in touch with him. So yeah, to get back on topic here, Jawari, I think I agree with you so much when it comes to the youth and how important that is. And like I was trying to talk about is the fact that the youth is going to other countries and they're not seeing that there's actual reasoning for staying there or even if you leave your country, even if you go to a different part of Africa, even, you know what I'm saying? You could still give back to your original country, your origin. Even if you go to, let's say you go to China for school, that could be actually be beneficial for you. You got to be really realistic here. If holding a US scholarship is going to give you more jobs in Africa in today's age, then it could be beneficial for you. However, you got to make sure that you're giving back to your community so that one day your children can be able to have a good looking scholarship from Africa itself. You know what I'm saying? It's all about meeting us at where we are now and being realistic, you know, and really looking at it from a realistic point of view and not jumping too far into the future and staying present to this day, but still making those steps towards the future. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like it's so important because we can't really just tell all the youth of Gambia and Africa, stop going to other countries to get your degrees, stop going to other countries unless it's putting your life in danger, you know, where the police are shooting young, innocent Black people. But you can't really tell them to do that if it's actually going to benefit them. Just like saying, oh, don't sell to white people, don't sell to Asian people. Well, if I'm selling my products to a different race and they're paying me and I'm giving it back to my country, where's the loss? There's really no loss in that. So we got to be really, really smart when we put this information out and talk about these types of things. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, you know, I think we got that one. So let's go on to the next topic. I don't know if you wanted to say anything about that.
Yeah, absolutely. I want to actually, I was going to get to that. I was just give people the history behind Gambia with the influx of youth that we have
today. Ooh, it sounds like you're whispering now.
Oh, sure.
You might have to just, I don't know.
It's all the way. Why is that? But can you hear me now?
Yeah, just a little bit louder, and I think we'll be good.
Yeah. So, like I was saying, in what you said is really, really important. You know, actually, that's what we're trying to advocate. You know, peer talk. That what we're trying to, you know, motivate people to move back home. And like you said, you know, you hear there's a reason why we came here. You know, I always say this. I'm like Africans. You know, it's not supposed it shouldn't happen. Like we shouldn't leave Africa to go anywhere to look for anything, any opportunity. But then that's how it is. You know what I mean? That's how life gave us. But then we can make it better as a people. You know, you mentioned it. You know, we have the opportunity to come over here to get our degrees. You know, when we get those degrees, you know, it's an opportunity. So
yeah, no.
What should be?
I'm having a really hard time hearing you, Alaji. I'm not gonna lie.
Oh, for real?
Yeah, really hard time, man.
Let me try to use an external mic on that one and see what's gonna happen. Hold on a bit.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So I'm gonna mute you, and whenever you're ready to come back, you can come back. So yeah, you know, I couldn't hear anything. I'm not gonna sit here and pretend like I could actually, but I didn't even follow up with what you were saying, to be honest. But you know, it is very important. You know, anybody else who wants to come in the chat as well can come in if you have some things to offer. But yeah, you know. And a good question is not just about exposing it and really touching up on where the issue is when it comes to why the youth feel as if they are not comfortable with basically succeeding in their own country, but also what are the steps that can be implemented? What are some of the solutions that can be implemented so that the youth of Gambia and really all of Africa can feel as if they're going to be able to actually succeed in their own country, you know? And an important thing is going to be scholarship, schooling, because we already know that a lot of the Gambian youths leave for school because their scholarships in other schools just look better for them. They're going to get hired if they have a scholarship from other places versus their own country. You know what I'm saying? Another thing is figuring out, being able to have a nice foundation of things that can actually help the youth succeed. I feel like that's another important thing. And another important thing that's going to be a good resolution is to actually instill entrepreneurship inside of youth, because entrepreneurship is something that's actually booming right now in today's society. And it's actually something that's almost needed in today's society. Because if you look into the future, really, sooner or later, a lot of the jobs that we have are going to be taken, and they're going to be ran by robots and AIs. It's already happening now. So you're going to have to learn how to fend for yourself, in a sense. And you're going to have to learn how to really make money on your own and give back to your country as well. So what I'm trying to say is, what is it that we can actually, oh, here, he's trying to talk. Hello?
Yeah, can you hear me now? But
oh my God, thank you.
Yeah, but the thing is, I can't hear you.
You can't?
But then I would just talk, and then if you are talking, I can take the mic off. Let's just do that. Yeah, like I was saying, that's one of the things we do. We try to motivate our people, who at least are the opportunity to come over here, better yourself, have that degree, and at least life is better. So we shouldn't leave it to that. We should actually extend it back there, because most of the time the reason why we came here, is that to get that education and then better ourselves. But a lot of times, we forget, back home, we came over here, feel comfortable, and then thinking, nothing is going to be better back there. And we are the ones who should do that, because nobody is going to come out of somewhere else and then make Africa for us. Whenever they come over there, they're going to come there for their own personal gains, but for us, that's our place, that's our land, that's our country. So we are motivating people to take whatever you have over here, take it back there. And that is not going to happen, if we don't invest. Investments are very important. There's a lot of investment opportunities in Africa, and we're not making good use of it. Because we are here, we are comfortable. We forget about our people back there. That's why you see an influx of people, young people leaving Gambia, and should I say Africa, the sub-Saharan, going to the back way, which is a big issue right now. People are dying there. Like you said, it's good to come over here if you know it's going to be better for you. But it's not going to be good for you to take such a dangerous route to say, oh, I just have to go. I have to be there. And then no matter what, and sometimes, a lot of people die in the high seas because of that reason. And I'm not gonna knock on them on that, because the reason why they're doing that, because they don't have the opportunities. They don't have the opportunities back home. That's gonna make them stay. And it's clear that our government are not doing it for us. So my thing is, this platform actually, we don't want to talk about nothing about the government, against the government, or talking about. Of course, we're gonna criticize the government a little bit when we need them in the sector. But now, how are we gonna do it without just putting all our hopes on the government? It's clear. I'm not gonna lie. Like, we need the government. Of course, we need the government. But what are we doing as people? What are we doing as a people? So, like, that's important, and we need to create. We are having kids over here. Most of the times when we have them here, we don't even encourage them, or we don't even show them that this is where you from. And they are here. That's an opportunity for them. They're gonna have all the privileges, a little privileges, they're gonna have. And they should use that privilege and then better our country. Because we're gonna have a future. Be an American today. But tomorrow, do you know what's going to happen? You don't know what's going to happen. So it's important to also have these kind of conversations. So yeah, you're right. We definitely need to have that kind of conversation. The youth, Gambia, the youth are like 63 point something percent.
Wow.
Population, and those 63.
The audio is really bad now.
25. I mean, so if we don't allow those people going back there,
Okay.
opportunities, man,
Hold on, Alaji.
For real. So yeah,
Alaji.
it's fun.
Okay, good. All right. Can you hear me? Okay, well, I agree with you, and I feel like that's an important thing you bring up. Can you hear me? Okay, well, I agree with you, and I feel like that's an important thing you bring up with the actual children, youth, feeling comfortable enough to get on a ship with no food, not enough food. You never know how long the food's gonna last. No proper sanitation on the ship, but they feel like they have to give up their life, that much of a sacrifice, just to get on a boat to get overseas. So of course they're going to be going to a country where someone's going to be shooting them, because they're already sacrificing their life to get on a boat to go somewhere, and I feel like that's a real heavy topic there, and that's very important, because we should be educating the youth. And when I say youth, I'm talking even younger ones, really younger ones, not just millennials and stuff, about what's in their actual country and how successful they can be inside their country and how they can be a superhero right there where they are. All the potentials that are around, all the things that they can learn, all the things that they can teach, all the things that they could be. You could be a fireman, you could be a policeman, you could be a doctor, you could be a Gambian, I don't know, fitness trainer. Look at all the stuff you can do right here in Gambia. So the more development, the more I feel like those things will happen naturally as well. But let me go ahead and welcome in Mango. Hi, Mango. Welcome back.
Hey, family. How you doing?
Yep. Okay. Well, did you have anything to say to this question? They had anything to put in?
Can you hear me clear?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. Good evening to everybody, depending on the part of the world you are. The whole thing, not just Gambia, the whole African youth thing. I've been watching things where people, if it's not the topic we're talking about correcting people, escape, go to Europe and all these different countries. That's what we're talking about, right?
Well, what I'm asking specifically is the Gambian youth active towards building Gambia? And that came along. So that's
Okay.
also important too. So if you have something to chime in on that, you can.
Okay, so let's look at it in general as every youth or even some older people from all around Africa, all around the continent, and particularly Gambia today, we talking about just going out of the country to go somewhere and find a better place. This what I would say first. Like the songwriter say, Lucky Dubie or whatever. He said the grass is green on the other side until you get there and see for yourself. So he said, I've lived both lives, which is abroad and in Africa. When you live both, you understand You like for you now, you went to Gambia and came back to the U.S. You understand the difference. You understand what people have back in Gambia. They don't understand it. You see, they don't understand what the blessing. Just like the freedom you have. You look at this movie. First of all, we look at the Western world. We look at all the movies. Everything is, for example, we look at Superman. We look at Batman. We look at all these good movies that come out from America, right? Or from France or from anywhere. If you're a French-speaking person in Africa, you look up to France and stuff like that. If you're from a British side of Africa, you look at England. You from like Liberia or whatever, you're looking at America. And most people, majority of the people look at America. So we looking at these things, the music videos, YouTubes, and all these things. We're looking at all that and thinking life is better. For example, we were talking about education. I wanted to get in that time, but I was somewhere that I don't think network was going to be good. They're going out trying to get education and all that stuff, right? That's one thing Africans is making a lot of mistake about. You go to Harvard, you graduate, you get a master's degree or whatever. You come back to Africa. What do you expect to get in Africa with that master's degree that you just got from Harvard, paid thousands of dollars? What do you expect if it's not exploiting your people? What do you expect to earn if you're not going back to be a professor in a school in Africa somewhere to teach your people? Let's bring Harvard back to Africa. All these African people that go to Harvard or go to Peabody's in the best schools. I have an auntie that my mom older sister. She went to Peabody, one of the best university theater arts and all that. She did that in she did music opera. She was the first opera singer from Africa, and the next opera singer is a Nigerian lady. But what are these people doing with it? And they could try to help, but is Africans into that? That's the first thing you should think about. So we go out to Europe and all these things, and that's why Africa is like that today. We go out to Europe, we learn, America, we learn all these things, but we forget the foundation. What should we learn for Africa? Look at the Kwame Nkrumah, like African freedom fighters. When they went to Europe, what did they learn? When they went to America, Kwame Nkrumah was cleaning restaurants in America. Cleaning restaurants, he was going to school. But some of the things we don't say, they will tell you Kwame Nkrumah went to the university in maybe Philadelphia and graduated and came back and became a freedom fighter and free his country. But what did Kwame Nkrumah do in America? He was a store boy, sweeping a restaurant. So if they tell you that about a freedom fighter that came to America, do you want to come to America? You can still fight for whatever you're fighting for in Africa. Some of us are fortunate, that we came to America, we learn and all that. It's a good thing. But we now should be the ones encouraging people, don't do it because it's not worth it. You see what I'm saying? If you have the opportunity, some of us were blessed or whatever to be during the war or whatever. We came to America, we came to the Western world. It's a good thing, but we miss a lot of things back in Africa too that those people have that we don't have. The culture. There's so many things that we should be educating our brothers back home. When I go back home, I tell them, you don't know how blessed you guys are to sit here, all these natural things. I told them if I was in Africa, I would be doing something as like a farmer or something. Start small. And these people become great. The richest man in Ivory Coast that I know, he's a farmer. No education, nothing. That's the mistake we make as Africans. Education. What is education? Education, like I said the last time on live, education is whatever you learn. Education depends on where you are, your environment, your settings. So if you're in America, you're gonna have to go to school, some trade school, some university or something. If you're in Africa where you find yourself, educate yourself with what you have over there. When I was in Africa, I went to art school. I did art. Everything I saw myself, people offering for free. I did that because I didn't have the money to keep, going to this university. You hungry. The first thing let's say you're hungry. Your parents from a poor family. Now you fighting to go to the best university for what? Just to say I went to the best university. When you graduate from that university, you need somebody up there to pull you up because it's by name, it's by, who know you in Africa. That's how you get jobs. So I don't care your university, whatever university you went to, you and the president's son went to the same university. When you come back, the president's son could hook you up with a job because he knows you. But if nobody know you, you're not gonna get a good job. Maybe you could work for United Nations, something. It depends what you're doing in school. So we need to sit there and think as Africans, why are we coming to Europe and America? Look at the Chinese, look at the Indians. When they come to America, they learn what they need for their home. They go back and they become millionaires. When we come to America, what we learn? I'm not trying to brag, but I came to America. I had a scholarship to go to a university. I told my dad I'm not going. He said, "Why?" People like he crazy. I went to Job Corps, and I would say on here, I went to Job Corps. I don't know if some of you know Job Corps in America. It's a
I know
government.
Job Corps. I went to Job Corps too.
There
I
you
went
go.
there
It's a
too.
government program. It's a government program that help you if you want to accelerate or whatever. You maybe for bad kids. This is for bad kids. I went to Job Corps with my high school diploma. I went to Job Corps. I took automotive trade, automotive technology. I did automotive and I did auto electronics. Graduated, right? When I came home, I started buying cars for $100, $200, repairing them, selling them for $1,000, $2,000, $3,000. Sometimes I get cars for free. Fix a little bit of something on it. Sell it for $1,500. But people sit there in Africa when you tell them you're a mechanic, they laugh. You went to America, is that what you learned? When I went back, my uncle told me, "Is that what you learned?" But when I started breaking things down to him, when I told him companies that I work for, my companies built trucks for the United States Army, private sector that you don't even know of. When I tell you things, we build trucks to go into flood, into hurricanes and all that. We do these things. We do things where we putting people out of business. Actually, the light poles and stuff you see, we build trucks like that put the light poles in, run everything by itself, right? So now you look at this and take that back home. But we look at this too. When we talk about the government, is the government going to invest in something like that? Is the government going to invest in somebody like that to teach people back home, teach this trade, this technology back home? No. So we learn things like that and go and educate our people.
Right.
So Africans should start going more into trade, more into farming, which is agriculture, and stay in Africa and use what we have. America came here and used what they had. They left England. They're like, you know what? We can't be slaves no more to England. So they came on this side and started hunting, racing animals, and all these things. Now, the richest people in America, they're farmers. People say, oh, they the YouTubers or they whatever, but they're farmers. Look at the peanuts we eat. Jimmy Carter, the president. Why did he go into peanuts? Why he didn't go into just politics and politics and politics? Look at Nigeria President Obasanjo, the ex-president. He's into farming, huge farming in Liberia. They got farming in Kenya, the tea farming, all these different things. These people are investing into farm. Look at Dangote, the richest man in Africa, farmer. He's doing agriculture, really. So
Right.
Africa need to start teaching these things to people. Forget the presidency. Forget, I will be a minister. I will be a governor. I will be a lawyer. I'll be a doctor. Everybody cannot be those things. It's all about
Exactly.
self-esteem. We look at other people dream and want to be that. Sometimes in Africa, your dad would tell you should be a doctor, and you fighting to be a doctor. You know how many people you're gonna kill when you become a doctor because you don't like it? You see what I'm saying? There's a passion, there's a trade in everybody. You need to find that. God has blessed us with a gift, and you find that gift. Be the best at it. My dad told me something one time. He said, "My son, I'll tell you something." He said, "Whatever you want to be the best at it." He said, "You want to be a thief? Be the best thief out there. Be the best thief out there. If you want to be a murderer, be the best one out there." So when somebody said we're looking for a murderer, oh, there he goes. He's not telling me to do bad things, but he's telling me to do
he's trying.
whatever you put your hands to. If
Yeah,
you're a
try your
janitor,
hardest.
sweep that floor. Sweep that floor the best you can. When you dreaming about Beyonce, you don't know what she went through to get to where she at. You see this child in the village. It's not impossible. I'm not trying to crush nobody's dream. You can dream, but work with what you have. Right with it.
Mm.
You know, that's the
Yeah, that's
thing
important.
Africans should start teaching. Then we will
Yeah,
move forward.
yeah. I agree with
So
you.
I won't want to take too
Um,
much of time.
no, it's okay. Whenever I'm live, whenever I'm live, you want to come in, chime in, you can chime in. Whatever you want to say. But yeah, I agree with you when it comes to education, really at the end of the day is not anything. And if you're going to use education, you really got to make sure that you're using it in the right ways too. So, like what I said earlier, about it is somewhat beneficial to come to the diaspora and go to school. But it's about what, like you said, what are you going to school for? Are you going to school for something that is applicable or that's going to gain you profit and be fruitful inside of the continent? Or are you going to school to become something that back home at your country, they don't even have that there? But you're just going to school because you saw so and Susan and Johnny do it. So, I completely understand where you're coming from and you make some really valid points. And I feel like that also, like when you think about agriculture and you think about all of these things, we got to be present in this present moment. And the youth has to be present in this present moment and think about what is it that's happening right now so that I can build for the future. What is going on in Gambia, in Liberia, in South Africa, all that stuff? What is going on there right now? What do we have? What don't we have? What do we need? What don't we need? What do we need to get rid of? What do we need to keep? I mean, these are practical things that just should be happening, but it's not happening, So I'll move on to the next question because I feel like we really hit the nail on the hammer on that one. So now we're going to try and focus in on the youth, really focus in on the youth. But why is it important to have Gambian and, okay, I messed up there. Why is it important to have Gambian and African youth on board with building the country? So why is it important to have the youth on board and not just relying on the old heads, relying on the government system, the old government system, relying just on tradition? Why is it important to have the modern come in and implement that inside of Gambia and African countries?
That's a very important question. We mentioned it, the youth are the future. And I feel like us, the youth right now, what we have in here, like the internet, we have the internet, we have the social media, we can have, have these kind of conversations, we are thousands and thousands of miles away, but we can have a conversation about stuff. So I think it's important, for, the youth, you know, on the continent or the youth of Africa, anywhere you might be, to connect, to have this mindset that it's our future that we're building. It's not about those old people no more because their era is gone and their era is different from what we have, right now. So, for example, back in the day, Gambia, and this is true for a lot of schools in Gambia. Maybe um, private schools might be different, but public schools, if you go to public school in Gambia, you don't know nothing about computers. Even a keyboard, you don't know nothing about keyboard until you graduate from high school. Then after you graduate from high school, then you're gonna go to a computer class, and that one is just gonna be a basic computer class. They're gonna teach you how to, type, how to, not even, basic typing, but they're gonna what the monitor does, the keyboard does. You don't know nothing about that. So how are we going to build our future? You know, when we are like that, you know, and I feel like the mindset too in Gambia, a lot of people don't, venture into technologies and other things. And my brother mentioned it there here. saying, if you're a mechanic, like you become a mechanic, they ask you, why you want to be a mechanic? You should be this, you should be that. And people like to copy other people. That was a time everybody want to be an accountant in Gambia. And if you count how many banks are in Gambia, you can count them. You know what I mean? And we have this influx of people graduating from high school, and they can't even have a job on that area, but they still, people are doing it. People are trying to do that thing because they feel like, be having some a technique, like being a technician, being a mechanic, or anything like that is like they look low upon that. And it's the society treat those people like they are failures sometimes. But then, brother, man, if your car has a problem, where do you go to? We need those kind of things. We need, but another mindset is we believe in the office settings in Gambia. At least I know Gambia. Everybody want to work in the offices. That's why, like I said, you see everybody want to do ACCA, they call it chartered accountant, because you just want to be in the office. That's it. How are we gonna, create, a self-sufficient mindset within the youth? You want to be a farmer. You're probably not gonna have a wife because you are a farmer. And everybody eats. Who are providing the food? The Gambia, our main crop is rice. We eat rice every day. Every day. But it's crazy how we import rice. We don't make rice in Gambia. Even if people are making it, it's just the rural areas. People who live in the villages are the people who are gonna cultivate rice and ground it and stuff. But other than that, if you go to the urban areas, like in this area, Kunda, with the Banjul areas, all their rice are coming from outside, from China, from Thailand, from all of that. And we have the land, we have the River Gambia, but we don't think that way. We're not thinking that way. Everybody want to just sit in the office, Everybody want to be, have a suit and tie on. So even though you're not having nothing out there, but then for the fact that you have the status, people look at you that you're working in the office, it's a problem. So we need to change that kind of mindset, in order for us to, like the topic,
yeah, let me
to be on board. Yeah, we have to. You guys can hear me, right? Yeah, we have to.
Yeah, no, you're fine.
We have to get rid of that kind of mindset too, and then be able to ready to work for our future, to make it better. Because if we don't do it now, our young ones are not going to do it. They have to look up to us. They have to see what we're doing, and then they can follow suit. If we're not doing it, we're not going to. We have to change the mindset. Gambia, our mindset is weird, man. It's crazy how we think. We have to change that. And we have another thing that I don't want to take on that, but I don't want the other thing that we need to get rid of is the tribalism. That's big in Gambia too. I can't go work with you if I'm not receptive about, our differences. Like we have different languages for a reason. Like I always say, it's a blessing, to be from Africa, because you'll be able to speak a lot of languages and a lot of different cultures. Even though we are the same people, we have different cultures, we have different languages. So those differences, we should embrace them to see that it's the Gambia we want to see first. Not anybody. I'm not going to look at you because you're a Wolof or you're a Mandinka or whatever. But we have to, be receptive about these things and then work for a better, future. That's big in Gambia. That's really big in Gambia. And if we don't get rid of those kind of things, it's going to be hard for us to, work together, as the youth of Gambia.
Right. I agree with everything you say. And I feel like one of the important things when you think about youth, like when you think about a kid, that's like 10 years old, when you think about a kid that's a teenager, even when you think about some 20 years old, 21-year-old, 22-year-old, sometimes it's about trends. What's cool? What's cool? They're going to migrate to what they feel like is the cool thing to do. So like you said, you're going to be a farmer, but the youth, the men not going to want to be a farmer because they're not going to find a wife. They're not going to get a girl. You know what I mean? So that's not cool no more to the youth. So why would they do that? So they're going to migrate to what they feel like is cool. You know, that's how you got to really look at it from a youth mindset. They thinking what's cool. And that's why everybody kind of goes with that. I'm going to copy you, everybody at once. You know, I didn't know about that, but you explained that to me today, that everybody at once wanted to do accounting all at the same time, everybody. I knew that they liked the office setting type of job, but I didn't know it was specifically accounting. Like you said, copycat. Now that's in our human nature to do those things. But when you're young, especially in today's society, we are programmed as youth to kind of do what's cool, to do what everybody else is doing. What's the new dance? You're not going to be on the dance floor and not hit the new moves. You know what I'm saying? So it's about it's honestly about making it popular, making it a trend to get into the minds of the youth. Why is it so awesome? Why is it so cool to be a farmer? Because you can make millions and then you get all the girls. Why is it so cool to know automotives? And then touching up on that too, where you're talking about automotives and also talking about computers and how they didn't teach computers. Well, in the Gambia and other African countries as well, I'm not singling out the Gambia, how much computers are being used? How much is it being used? Because even to go buy land in the Gambia, I got to go see the chief of the village. I got to go see the chief of the county. And I got to go see the chief of that other county to sign paperwork. There's no digital things to do. So why should they learn? Why would they be learning? Why would those government people or whatever who are creating that curriculum, why would they make it a priority to learn computers if the country itself don't even have that much computers in it? So it's those people who are instilling the criteria to learn those things. So it kind of works hand in hand with development and the education, because you need to educate them on what's in the country. Just like you said with the automotives. And Mac Mango said, when you went back and your uncle or whatnot was saying, well, why are you doing automotives? That's not going to help you. Well, look around. If my car breaks, who's going to help me here in Gambia? Because there's only 2 automotive shops. You know what I mean? So those things are actually still needed. So I really, 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 really do think that's important. I do feel like it's more about trades. It's more about trades than going in and learning all these different things that is not even going to be beneficial for you. And that's the same thing in anywhere you are in the world. You got to be careful with school because you can waste a lot of time and money in something that's not even going to be giving back to you. You come out of school and you're still washing dishes, no matter where you're from or no matter where you live. You can go to school in America and get a degree and come out and still wash dishes. You know, it's crazy. So, you know, it is important to have the youth come on board. But I think what's really important is making it cool, making it a trend. Best way to do it is to get into social media. And once they start seeing, like you said, monkey see, monkey do. Once they start seeing a bunch of people being agriculture over time, I think a lot of youth is actually going to go into farming. I really do. I feel like over time, a lot of youth may go into farming, you know, as long as not spending too much time listening to all the Western stuff. I feel like that will happen. Did you have anything to say to that, Mango? You look like you're sleeping. Damn. Yeah, I think he went to sleep. Wait, I can't hear you. But yeah, you know, it's about what's cool to them. You know, I feel like that's how you really talk to the youth. You got to make it fun. It's got to be fun. It's got to be cool.
Yeah,
They're not going to want to do something like that.
I agree. You gotta make it cool. So that's what we need to be doing as the young people. You know, I talk to people in the diaspora that there's a lot of African Gambians over here who are doing good in here. They have their businesses in over here. But to me, if you have a business, that kind of business over here, it's a cool thing. But extend it over there. And then. Invest in something that we need out there, like you say, like farming. We need farming because we need to eat. So make it cool. How are you gonna make it cool? And because the mindset there to Gambia, if you're from America and all that, they look at you you have that status. But if with that status, if you invest in farming, a lot of people gonna actually you're gonna change a lot of mindsets because they will be like, oh wow, he's from America and he's farming. And that's not a thing, about Gambia. So I know things, fisheries, man. We have the river, Get out there, invest in that thing. A lot of youth out there, they don't have a job. Make it cool, like you said. Make it cool. They don't know that you can actually be a millionaire doing those kind of things. Tell them these are the steps that you need to take. If you wanna make it out here. You don't need to go anywhere to make it out. You can have all your education stuff. We know it here. You have a degree, still you're working 2 jobs. Why that? You know what I mean? It's cool to have a degree, but make that degree and expand it and do something else that we need in our communities. You know, we need a lot of things in our community. That's why in the beginning I said what we have at hand, like the internet. We have the social media and all of that. Sensitize people. Let the people know that this is a cool thing. This is what is happening in the West. The richest people in the West, among the richest people are the farmers. Let them know what they do, and let's take it out there too. We can do even better because we have everything out there. We have the River Gambia. It's fresh water. You can actually cultivate anything from that river. You know, um, so it has to do with the mindset. And we cannot be like that forever. We cannot be, saying, oh, we don't have that things over here. Like you said, it's not a cool thing over here. It's not something that people are seeing around. We have to make it available. We have to make it available. So that's another thing that I know we're talking about the youth, but the older people too, they need to help us with that. They need to lead the way, because most of the time these old people in the government offices or wherever they might be, they don't give chance to the young ones. Because the young ones, actually, we have the young mind. We know a lot of things that they don't know, because we are actually probably more exposed than them. But they don't give us that opportunity, to do what we need to be doing. I would like I used to have a friend. It's been a while now. We lost contact. But dude was a civil engineer, so he was he studied somewhere outside and then came back to Gambia to serve the Gambia. But at some point he wanted to leave Gambia because he is scared that the old people are trying to. He said they actually don't like him over there because they're scared that he's going to take their jobs, their positions. So come on, man. I mean, that should be something that we should be proud of. Somebody who is young like that, he went out and then got the education. Now, a lot of people are doing that. Most people don't go back, but he went back and he's serving the country. But you guys don't want to give him that opportunity. So that's another thing. Like my brother said, that's what it is. A lot of people are like that. You have a degree and then come back. How much you spend to get that degree, how expensive education is in the West, and then you come back home, you're not even having a quarter of that pay. I mean, it's crazy. So they need to give us that opportunity that pave the way for us, so we can actually make the place better. for us, because their area is gone. We respect them. They did great for us. But we got to move forward. We got to change. We don't have to
Yeah.
be in the same spot forever. No, you came over here, America. Kids like young kids, engineers, and all of that. They always working their brain to make things better for America, for the nation. And we came over here too. We do the same thing for them, but we're not doing nothing for ourselves. So what our future gonna look like? It's still gonna be like the same.
Yeah.
I was sad the other day. One of my cousins was showing me a school ground, like in Gambia, in the rural Gambia. I can't imagine that, like, people still have stores as classrooms. That's sad. Stores, like
You said
classroom.
you said they
kids,
still have
what I
what
mean?
stores?
It's amazing. Yeah.
You said they still have what stores as classrooms? Stores like markets, like stores like that?
Like pros, like grass pro, grass.
Oh, grass.
Making that, like, yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's still happening in Gambia. It's sad. When I saw that, I'm like, really, this is still happening? It's so sad. And you see this bunch of kids, sitting together, trying to get that education, but the environment is like super not conducive for them. So how are we gonna change that? How are we gonna change that? We have to get on board, like you said, and then change our mindsets on everything that we thinking, anything that deterring us, to have a better future for our kids. If not, it's sad, man. It's not gonna be good for Gambia. And Gambia is a very small country, man. And you think about it, less than 3 million people. Just in the city I am in Seattle, it's not even a quarter of that. You know what I mean? So I'm not trying to equate America with Gambia, but we got to evolve. We got to.
Yeah.
We got to actually.
We do.
When we come over here, we should look at the environment and how they do things. I know we cannot replicate like 100% what they do, but then at least a little bit. We should take it over there. To make our place better. Not just to sit there, blaming the government of everything. It's clear that they're not going to do it for us. So what are we doing?
Right.
Yeah, what are we doing? We need to come on board and clear all the differences that we have. That, like I said, the tribalism, that those kind of mentalities and stuff. If I'm a mechanic, man, come on board. I'm an engineer. Let's work together, man. Let's make this thing work. What I mean? Let's take it out there. Yeah.
But
yeah,
I will
absolutely.
say also that, like, when it comes to,
we can't do that until we change our mindset.
Right.
Our mindset. A lot of us, we come here, we said, hey, I'm not going back. I'm home. Really? You home? That's sad. It's sad that you're saying that. You're not home, man. Because your life is better than somebody out there who needs you. Because you owe that person.
Right. Now, let me just touch up on something before you go forward, though. Okay. I know you can't hear me when you're talking because the mic thing. So really, it's really important. Let me get Mango off of here real quick because I think we're just watching him sleep now. I think he's gone. So let me get him off. But basically, you made a really important topic about how there was some rivalry between the older people and the younger people. But it's also good to understand that, we still do need the older people, like, because they instilled that tradition. They instilled this, like the roots, you know what I mean? We still need those roots. We still need it there. And we still do need to respect our elders. Now, when it comes to African people, I know exactly how it is. Because even in Liberia too, when you're ready, it's like, because I'm older, then I just have complete control. You know, you got to respect your elders, but to what extent? Because that happens a lot in African culture where, oh, I'm older than you, so you don't get no way, or I'm older than you, so I got to respect you. I mean, you got to respect me to the point where it's like, I'm not even listening. You know what I'm saying? And we got to be careful with that, not listening too, because it's about an equal give and take. It's about learning from each other. It's about supporting each other, and also standing in your own individuality as a youth as well, and as an older person, because the older people have their role in society and the youth have their role in society. And it's not necessarily the same, but there has to be some type of compromise, some type of agreements, and some type of understanding that there are different roles. That, hey, look, when it comes to setting the trends, the youth is in charge of setting the trends. Because right now in Africa, the youth are not setting the trends. Right now in Africa, the elders are setting the trends, and they've been setting the same trends. And some of it is really corrupt trends. It's not really setting the trends. You know what I'm saying? Like that. And that's all over the world too, where you'll see that the government is setting the trends and having an influence. But in other countries over the world and continents, you'll see some that the youth has a bigger ability to set trends and stuff like that too. So the youth need to start to set trends. And also, what type of trends are you setting? You know, it's got to be given back to Africa. It's got to be given back to your country and back to the continent as well. So we got to be really proactive, because if it gets to a point where it's a fight between traditional and modern, that's not going to be effective. It's never effective in a fight. It's never effective in a war environment, because what happens when everybody's trying to be heard? If the youth is trying to be heard and the older people are trying to be heard, if the diasporas are trying to be heard and the continental Africans are trying to be heard, all this crap, if everyone's trying to be heard, who's listening? You've got to be able to listen. Got to be able to listen. So it's important if no one's listening, then there's not going to be a resolution. If nobody's listening, then there's not going to be some type of evolution. If no one's listening, then there's not going to be a push forward. There's not going to be a resolution. So it's important to know that it's not really about tradition and modernized people, old heads and youth really fighting for power or position. It's about them knowing exactly what place in the society that they have, and working on an individual level on their own specific talents, and not really just copying what everybody else is doing and then doing it and moving forward from that. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's some really valid points you made, and I'm just going to go on to the next topic here. And after that, there's one more topic, and then we'll be out. And Mac Mango is still here. I see him. So if I see him wake up, I'll add him back in. So we got balancing the youth and the old heads. What are some of the differences? Now, I think we kind of already covered what some of the differences are, but let's go even deeper than that. What do you think is the roles of the youth, and what do you think is the roles of the old heads? Because they each got some positions and roles. What do you think that is for each of them, in your opinion?
All right. You know, like you said, we all have a role to play. We can totally like push away the old hates and say, you know, where get out of the way. No, we need their wisdom. You know, even on the other day, I was having a conversation with one of my friends. He was saying, he's so brutal. He was like, you know, we should, you know, kick away all these old people. And I'm like, you know, I think that's not a good idea, because we need old heads. Absolutely, we need them, because they have more experience than us. They have more wisdom than us. So it's just for everybody to understand your role. The old people should know that, you know, this kid is our future. We need to nurture them. We need to teach them. We need to, you know, talk to them about, you know, wisdom, you know, so that, you know, they don't absolutely okay. Like we mentioned, you know, the youth, we are smarter, because what we have youth are always smarter, but then these people, they have the wisdom. They need to understand that, and then be able to, help us, you know, uh, teach us how to get, that wisdom, and then together us having the smart, uh, uh, you know, things that we have at hand, and then resonate that with that, and then be able to move forward. So with that, we all have to respect each other. We have to respect these elders. Like the Gambia. There's one thing about Gambia. We all, we respect our elders. There's a number one thing. You have to respect your elders. You know, um, you have to know how to talk to them. You have to know, all of that. And that's a good thing. So if we have that, that means, there's hope that we can actually work together. And these elders too, they need to understand that is that we need to give them back respect. You know, that no matter, I believe that no matter who you are, no matter how young you are, you still deserve that respect. And so they definitely need to understand that, and then know that we live in a different era. Kids nowadays, it's not like back in the day. You know what I mean? We're more exposed. We see things. We see other things, out there that actually gonna can actually affect us. Our when it comes to our culture. So we need to. They need to let me talk about the elders. So they need to be receptive in that area, and then be able to open up, to us, talk to us directly, that, hey, this is what it is. You see us doing anything that is not right, you gotta make sure that, we take the right route. Back in the day in Gambia, there's, at least I would be able to talk for Gambia, and I think that's like, of a lot of African countries, the elders used to, do that actually. It doesn't matter, even if I'm related to you or not, I have to put you through. If I see you doing something that's not right, I have to. They actually go, I've been whooped, back in the day by somebody who I don't know, what I mean? Because, I've been messing up in the street. I've been doing something that, is not right. They saw me, like, they hit me, like, beat me up, like, yo, you gotta, I think those kind of things, it might be brutal, but like, it's kind of cool. That means, we have that unity. We have that, love, for everybody, because it's obvious that, if you beat me up for doing something wrong, that's love right there, because you want good for me. You want a good, better future for me. So they should be able to transform that, not brutally, like hitting and stuff like that, but then intellectually, because you have more wisdom than me. Talk to me, see me, yeah, you are the future. So you see me doing something, you have to encourage me. You have to actually motivate me to do it more than doing something that's gonna actually, make me deviate from doing that good thing. So when it comes to the youth too, we shouldn't lose hope. We shouldn't lose hope. We should actually have a conversation with them. We should have, deep conversations. Like I said, we are smarter. We know better. We know a lot of things. When it comes to the new generation, they don't know that. A lot of them don't even know how to, how to type. So us having that opportunity, we should be able to bring that to the table and then talk to them, and then make them understand, make them know that this is what we're about. We are about the development of Gambia. We are about seeing Gambia, in another level. So when we have that kind of conversation, they'll be able to understand our mindsets as well. Because some of these people, they don't see that. They don't, because we don't have conversation. They don't know what we about. A lot of times, because they're stuck on the old fashioned way. If you're acting some kind of way, they'll be like, oh, he's westernized. He's that. He's that. But then tell them, I'm not, whatever they think you are, let them know that, this is not what about. This is how the world is working right now. This is how we're supposed to be doing in order to get to where we want to get to. It's all about the future. Like I said, in America here, whatever today, they're not working for today. Whatever they're working today is for tomorrow. They already have, today in place. They're working constantly for tomorrow. So that's what we need to be doing. Everybody has a role to play. The young people, they have a role to play. The other people, they have a role to play. We should be able to consolidate that and then move us forward, with respect. As Africans, respect is our number one. Love actually, and then understand and have patience. Because these older people sometimes, because you're getting older, so you don't have patience for a lot of things. So we young people should build that patience. We should have that resistance, and then be able to work with them to get to where we want to get to. And then like Gambia, one thing I love about Gambia is people are so nice. What I mean? There's Gambians. That's why they call it smiling core, because they when it comes to other people, we are outside who are outside Gambia, we are definitely receptive to new people, like new cultures and stuff like that. So let's make use of that kind of that thing that we have in us, and then within ourselves. It doesn't have to be just the people outside, but within ourselves. Let's create that kind of connection so that we can have a better future for everybody, for every young Gambian, for every old Gambian.
Yeah.
Those people, man, old people, we should be able to, create a better retirement for them. It's sad though, but sometimes, the reason why these old people be doing that, like I mentioned before, one of my friends who went back to Gambia to work for Gambia. If you see a lot of those things happening because those old people, they're scared of losing their jobs because they don't have a better retirement plan. You know what I mean? They don't have it because that's the only job you have. If you're not lucky enough to have kids who are helping you, that's that's all you depend on. So it's gonna be hard for you to lose it like that. But we should come on board and then let them know that actually you can have a better retirement plan. You can do this, you can do that. And let's bring our brains together. There's a lot of engineers out there who are Gambian. We have a lot of PhD Gambian, you know what I mean? Let's come back and then whatever we have out there, we put it on this table and then make us better.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah. So, I agree with you there. I think it's really important to, basically what you're saying is the elders need to make room for the youth to play their part. And I think that's important too. And I think another solution to, hey, if the elders don't make room for the youth, there doesn't have to be a back and forth, respectfully, That's when the entrepreneurship comes in. That's when the entrepreneurship comes in. And that's when it comes into the point where you kind of have to just build on your own. When you build on your own, then you can show the elders what it is that the youth is doing. Now, if the youth is building on their own and they're doing good, productive things inside of a society or inside of a nation, and the old heads are still thinking, well, trying to stop it when when what they're doing is proactive, then that's when you kind of have some, hold on, we need a compromise. But in this case, in Gambia, it's really not, it's a big deal, but I think it's an easier solution. And it's really about entrepreneurship, learning trade, learning the things that your country needs in order to be successful, and learning how you can actually achieve those things in your country. What is it that you need to learn? What is it that you need to achieve? What are the steps that you have to take in order to be a farmer? What are the steps that you have to take as a youth in order to succeed in whatever trade it is, that Gambia needs? And also that influence needs to be there where the youth knows, hey, this is a cool thing to do. So that way they can migrate to doing that as opposed to leaving the continent and the country. So let me see what Okatan has to say. Welcome in, Okatan, and thank you so much for coming into the live today. I think you're new here, so did you have something to chime in on the topic?
Yeah, I have something to chime in. Hello, everybody. I hope you're doing good. I agree with what you guys are saying to an extent, but I definitely have something controversial to add to this as well. But what I'm gonna say is, at first, is yes, Gambia does have a lot of brilliant people out there in the diaspora. There's a lot of brilliant people in Gambia, and they are just not being given an opportunity to take leadership. At the moment, there are a lot of mediocre people in the Gambia that are leading the country, and it's just going nowhere. Do you understand what I mean? But there is a lot of brilliant people, and they are coming back. I know every Gambian that's in the diaspora, most of them have plans to come back and do something in the country. Most of them have plans to do that, and they're all working their butts off to make sure they have something to put back in there. And you are right in the sense that sometimes you have to bypass politicians to go into entrepreneurship. You don't have to partner with the government. You have to go yourself individually. If there's no good school, you build the school yourself. Make it a private school and provide the best education instead of the lower basic primary schools that are so rampant in the Gambia. You need to provide a good private school, good private healthcare. That way you create competition that brings better services in the country. So Gambia needs that. Gambia needs that as well. With regards to respecting your elders, don't you think we have a bit too much of that? That Gambia has a bit too much of that. Like it's steeped in the culture. It's so steeped in the culture. Whenever you start to speak to your elders, say, "Hey, know your place. You're older. You think we're the same age and all that stuff. You think we're your friends." Don't you think we have a bit too much of that? It's necessary for our cultures to have that, to respect your elders. But most countries, yeah, they don't pick elders as leaders. You know why? Because when they pick a young leader, that young leader has the fire in his belly to continue move the country forward. You understand what I mean? An old head has fought so many battles and he's tired of battling. You understand what I mean? He's tired of battling, and if you come and say, "Hey, come on, get up, old man, let's go fight," he's gonna be like, "Oh, I'm too tired, man. I'm too." But young people have the fire in their belly to go to carry on a fight. That's why most of these countries have an age limit, not even an age limit. They have, as long as you still fight, you still have vitality within you to carry on fighting. That's the kind of people they choose. But they keep letting these old leaders in you have in Uganda. That man is so old. He's still in president in Ivory Coast. So why does African president have old leaders that don't have no fire to fight within them? They don't have no fire in the belly. They're just old all over the place.
The president of Uganda actually did a pretty good job, though. He did a pretty good job. He has some vitality. Huh?
Okay, Museveni, but he's too old, man. He's too old. There's nothing new he's gonna bring to the table. You understand? The vitality is necessary to have a youthful president as well. You will see it everywhere because it brings change. You understand? I do respect some of the old Pan-Africanist leaders. I do respect them, but you have to change at some point. You have to change. You have to groom somebody that's younger that's gonna take over. It can't be you till the day you die. Do you understand? Even if you did something good in the past, but there must be a time where you just allow for somebody who maybe is aligned with your same policies, with the same policies as you, to take charge. Do you understand? Because at some point you just get tired of battling. But anyways, with regards to Gambia, I think Gambia is going to develop, but because it's gaining a lot more traction these days, and in the ways it's going to develop, it's probably going to go into a lot of service sector, a lot of agriculture and service. I think that's a huge potential for Gambia, agriculture and service sector. I mean, we already have hospitality, which is going in the resorts and all that stuff. All you need is just proper service sector and agriculture. These are the main industries that Gambia will go towards. You understand? So it just people need to bring the ideas that they see in the West and implement it there. Like I always think in Gambia, when people finish school, right? When they finish school, they don't know where to go to find a job next. They don't know where to go to find a job next. You know why? Because there's no in between connecting the employer and the employee. There's no a lot of agency people. There's not a lot of agency work where people can go, when I finish good, I can go to that agency and they'll connect me with that type of job. You understand? And people are not taught like the real skills. You only learn skills at university, but the skill sets should be brought down to college level. You understand? When you start at college, you can learn a trade. If you don't make it to university, at least you learn something you can do. You understand what I mean? So Gambia is missing a lot of these. But I know a lot of brilliant people are here. They have ideas and all that. So Gambia, you better watch out. It's going to change in a couple of years. I think the critical thinking also has to be allowed. One thing that I know is about us Gambians, about we like to be in harmony and agree in peace. We like to not hear critical thinking or contrasting thinking. You understand? Like I remember when I was in Gambia when I was a kid or something. You understand? So this was happening when we are choosing a leader. We choose the guy that has no problem with everybody. The guy that doesn't have any drama with everybody. That's the guy we choose as leader. But the reason that guy doesn't have drama is because he's not doing nothing significant in the group. He's not doing nothing. That's why so we choose somebody like no drama Adama. If he doesn't have any drama in his life and he's not gonna do anything. He's just gonna sit there and eat benekin and keep making his belly full. And his belly will be so full. Nothing is gonna go to his head. No air is gonna go to his head for him to think. So we need to learn. What I can say, Yaya Jammeh was too hot, and Adama Barrow is just too cool. We need someone in between, somebody that is that's proactive, somebody that's proactive, but somebody that understands the people as well and understands so we can't always just choose the meek people. Meek people are sometimes not the best leaders, because they will just get along and agree with everybody. Anybody that agrees with everybody is not really gonna change anything. You have to have somebody that has his own stance. You understand what I mean? So
Exactly.
I think that's what we need. We need to differentiate that when it comes to choosing leadership and voting. It's because leadership is not down to only the president. There's other people in between, other uh, uh, other politicians in between who have roles, administrative roles. Those people also are leaders as well, all the way down to the president. We have to be careful when it comes to choosing that. You know. So that's what I've got to say. I think we have too much respect for our elders. I mean, there's just a bit too much of it. There's just
But
too
here's
much
the
of
thing,
it.
though. Here's the thing. I hear what you're saying, and I hear the contrast. I hear you. That you saying that okay, it's a little bit too much, though.
Yeah.
The respecting the elders is too much. We give us some room to breathe. Give us some room to take some leadership roles, basically, the youth.
Yeah. Yeah.
But at the same time, where are they going to go? Where is the elders going to go? Is there a way
There's a role
to push them out? No.
push
So
them
there
out.
has to be some kind of compromise, right?
There has to be a transition, a reshaping of Gambian politics. You understand what I mean? Right? There has to be a reshaping of it, as in younger people need to be more brazen to create their own political parties and take on charge. We need to spread that idea that yes, a young person can run office. We don't have to wait till somebody is 50 and say, just because he's older or something. Young people must be brazen enough to come forward. You understand? And that way, people will vote for you based on your ideas rather than your age. Because I know Gambia has a lot of ageism. There's so much ageism. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's so much ageism in Gambia. Young people need to be brave enough to come forward and get rid of the idea that I must wait because I'm not old enough yet. I can't be president. You know what I mean? I'm not old enough yet. I can't be president. You can do whatever you want to do. You can do whatever you want to do. And as long as people like your ideas, it doesn't matter how young you are.
Right.
You understand? So there is a place for elders. They can have advisory roles.
Mhm.
Advisory roles. You understand? They can have
Mhm.
advisory roles. They can advise communities.
I
They
want to
can
chime
advise
in on that.
villages. So there's a place for them. But in
Okay.
terms of leadership, to be the person leading us in a fight, you don't want an old person in the battle, in the front line, in the battle line. You know, your whole platoon will get killed.
Yeah, I see. I
You
see what you're
understand?
saying.
Yeah.
Yeah, I completely agree with you saying. I'm just trying to throw some stuff out there, but it makes sense. It really does. It makes sense. Um,
It's just because when I look at it, I say, why are these people always pushing towards these old leaders in African countries? I look at it and say, but while I see Europe and all this, they have young leaders all over the place. But whenever these old corrupt African leaders are always still there, it's very tough to remove them. What do you expect an old person to do for you? Take you to the grave.
I see what you're
I'll
saying.
shut up. I'll shut up now. I'll shut up.
It's really about I see what you're saying, but like I said, they're not going nowhere. But there does need to be room. I do agree with you when it comes to the politics and stuff, about how it shouldn't just be an old person. You don't as a youth, you shouldn't think that you have to be old in order to go into office, or you have to be old in order to set trend. Because what the youth has the power to actually create evolution. The
Hmm.
youth actually has the power to actually create new things.
Hmm.
You're not going to see an old person create the new trend. Most of the times, the new trends come from the youth. It
Yes.
comes from the millennials, and it comes from those youth people. So if you create the trend, it's up to the youth to actually do the work. They have to create that trend to say, hey, I'm gonna do the work, and look at me. I'm running for office. So once you have that first youth Gambian run for office, the second one, the third one, what do we have? All of a sudden, it's cool to try and run for president. Now all
Yeah.
the youth is doing it. Sorry, Alaji, you said you wanted to say something?
Yeah, something about that. I totally agree with him on that. That's actually an issue and a problem in Gambia. A lot of youth don't want to associate themselves when it comes to politics. They don't want to step up. That was another problem. Now it's changing though, because we've seen the youngest male is like 32 or 33 or something. But we don't used to have that. I understand that when Yahya Jammeh was there, he was he kind of tell a lot of people, a lot of young people, to get into politics, because what comes to people's mind is, if I be in that political arena, I have to be part of the ruling party. If I don't want to be that, if I want to oppose that, that means, that's a problem for me. I'm going to go to
Mm.
jail, or they're going to kill me for that. So a lot of young people don't associate themselves into politics. But now we don't have that, you know, um, excuse for that. Nowadays, like democracy in there, and people can actually, involve themselves into politics to change stuff. Like he said, young people are the one who can, and you say that too. They can, make change because of they are more receptive to the new world, to the new environment, whatever is happening.
Yeah.
We have, and like I said, we have the youngest male is like less than 35. He's doing great. He's doing
Mm.
so much good, in his, community, and that's what we need. Those
Mhm.
are examples that will show us that the youth can actually do better. You know what I mean? And the only thing that we need to do is, to involve in it, because if we don't, we the only people who's going to be sitting there complaining about the government. We don't have that. But if you don't involve yourself in there, and you know that you can actually do it. We have, like you said, we have smart brains in the Gambia who can actually hold positions, in government, but they're not doing it. Everybody want to be like, hey, I'm not a politician. Some people, even myself included, we don't like to vote. Me, we don't even like to vote, because to us, that's not a cool thing, you know. But little that we didn't know that politics is part of us. It's part of us. If we, want things better for us, we better involve in it. And
Mm.
better be in it deeply, not just be a sideliner. We have to be
Mhm.
deeply in it, and then change things that actually we need to change. You know,
Mhm.
I think that's very important. I mean, we need a lot of people in the political. We definitely need them.
Yeah, and then in the same sense, not to rely too much on the politics as well,
Yeah.
and to know that you can do it too on yourself. So it's good because you still want to get in there, but those who are interested in the politics and are young shouldn't hold themselves back from getting in there and
And
trying to evolve. But at the same time, you do want to make sure that those who aren't involved in politics don't just think that, okay, well, I got to live up to the standards of the government and stuff. Like, no, you can actually create a new standard. You can create new things. So last question here. And then we'll see. We're going to wrap it up. The last question here is going to be, what do you guys think? Do you think that we can even balance tradition with the new age, or does it have to just completely be separate?
um, I think we can. Japan did it. So if we can learn how Japan did it, the money tradition has its place. It has its place as in how it's structured in the social order of the nation, in the social traditional backward family house. But then you have modern political concepts that are supposed to be used to govern a nation. You understand what I mean? But
Mm,
in terms of how people should treat each other on a daily basis, that's where tradition should come in a little, in a way. Do you understand? How people should be with each other. We have some good tradition things that we should keep. When you're trying to change yourself, you don't want to get rid of your good habits. You understand? You want to keep your good habits and get rid of your bad habits. So there's some good moral habits that we have. Even respect your elders. I just say it's just a bit too much, but there's a
it
place
is.
for it in society. But when you bring it into politics, that means, oh, you're respecting this person's opinion only because he's older. No, you should respect his opinion because his opinion is legitimate and is the correct opinion. You understand what I mean? So you don't bring those traditional values in a political environment. It's not the place and time for it. You understand? But in your community and your village home, and all, you can see that when you have to know how to talk to your elders. It applies, but it just doesn't work in different environments. You know,
Yeah.
there's place for it. You know. So anyway,
Yeah,
what are
I
you gonna
see what
say?
you're saying. I see what you're saying because even, like what Alaji said, is too much for you to go into, you go getting beat in the street by an elder that isn't even part of your family. Like, I understand where it's coming from. I understand the good intentions to, train and to make sure that that kid's doing right. Why are you doing something wrong? But it depends on what you're doing too. If you just did something small, it shouldn't give that adult that's not even part of your family the right to basically beat you on something that maybe even your own family wouldn't beat you for, because they can abuse that power. You
Mm.
know what I'm saying? So you got to be careful with that. That's why there does need to be some limits to that. You know what I'm saying? There does need to be some limits to that.
I
Now,
guess the
mhm.
I guess the question is, would Gambia be able to manage that? Because it's going to happen anyways. The more we go further, the more we will start to see such things, such old ways of being. Although positive they may be, they will wash away within society. It's like in a city that doesn't exist. In a city, you don't find another person from another community beating another child. Even in Banjul, you won't find that. But in the villages, you'll find that. So as we modernize, are we gonna be able to maintain that traditionalism really?
Mm. And keeping the good tradition too, keeping the
Yes.
good tradition. I
Yeah.
think that's the answer to your question. I think is yes. It's going to happen naturally. What works is going to stay, and what's not going to work, some of that might stay, what's not going to work, but for the most part, some of it's going to go away. So implementing those morals and implementing those basic morals, treat women with respect,
Mm.
respect your elders, don't curse in front of your elders, say hi, things of that nature. Obviously, those things should stay. I don't think it should go out of hand.
One
Um,
thing, one thing I think is not gonna change about Gambia is because no matter who comes to Gambia, they will have to adjust themselves to the nature and culture of the people within there. I don't think the nature of Gambians and the people there will change anytime soon, because it's just the environment we're living in. It's not such a stressful environment. I don't know if that will change, just like how Senegal went. But Gambian people have developed a culture of being very hospitable and nice to each other, and so anybody that comes there is very refreshing when they get to Gambia, and they like to adapt to that. They quickly rewire their brain. Oh, I'm in a different country now. Here, people say hello to each other. People, so I think that aspect of Gambia will remain. I hope so, at least.
I think it will too. I think it will too. Did you have anything to say about that, Alaji?
Good. I have something to say about that. I think culture is what made us. We all you have to be cultured. You know, to be able to carry yourself, to be able to take your country or your as a human being, as a black person. Uh, for you to be able to exhibit or expose yourself to the world. Because if you have your culture, that means you know anywhere you go, you're going to take that culture, and we shouldn't forget about that. But yes, now we're living in the modern world. We live in a global village. That means other cultures are going to come in Gambia, and how are we going to maintain ours and still, be receptive to new cultures that are in there. And it's important. Like my brother said, Gambian people, we have a high form of hospitality. We shouldn't drop that down because Gambia is very diverse. I would say that, and that the statue there, it was since back in the day. I remember that there was a time Gambia you can find any anybody from the sub region in Gambia. There were Nigerians in the Gambia, Ghanaians, Liberians, everybody, Senegalese people, everybody is out there, and we live in peace and we welcome everybody. That's something that we shouldn't get rid of. We just have to be receptive about other cultures. Like we say, like now, a lot of African descents are also moving down there. We you know and we shouldn't be like forcing our cultures on them because it's obvious that that's not where they're from. We should be able to welcome them. We should be able to teach them our cultures in a way that we're gonna have an understanding of their cultures too. you know um and when we do that, then we are actually going to be moving forward together, and then we're going to make our Gambia a better place for everybody. Like you said, respect. That we shouldn't change that. That's part of our culture. That's part of Gambian culture. Wherever Gambian goes to, that one thing they know them for is respect, and then have a regard for humanity for anybody. So we shouldn't change that. Even though, like we live in here, we have this culture over here. We have to adapt to the American culture because in order for us to make it out here, we have to adapt to that. And then the good culture in America, we should absolutely take it over there. There's a lot of good things about America that we don't have. Even our culture, we have bad culture too. There's a lot of things that we do, especially the way we used to treat our women. That was our culture. That's a culture that we have to, take care of our women. We have to, that's the good thing about us. We have to respect our women. We have to do all of that, And then now we have the Western culture. Everybody, either the woman or the man, we all trying to use the Western culture because we are more exposed to Western culture, and then we're trying to blend it, in our culture. But a lot of times, the way we do it wrongly. Like I said, we take the good one and then consolidate it like with the ones we have, and then make it better. But a lot of times we don't do it that way. Everybody wanna whatever favors you, whatever you think is gonna favor you. That's what you're gonna take. And most of the time what we say, hey, we're living in a different world now. It's not what it is like now. We're not living in the back, like whatever, the 60s, whatever. This is the new world now. This is, how I'm going to roll. But we forgetting that, wherever we're from, that's what shapes us. That's what makes us who we are. We shouldn't forget about that. We shouldn't forget about what made us. And that's our culture. And our culture, every African culture is beautiful. The tradition in Africa, every tradition is beautiful. Yes, we have the good and the bad. Yes, we have to, change that and then make the old ones, the bad ones we have, and we throw them away, and then take the good ones of every culture that we have in hand, and make us better.
Exactly.
Yeah, man, it's a lot, but basically, just be receptive. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I agree with you guys a lot, when it comes to taking what works and, because that's the thing, when it comes to having the youth implement and evolve and create new structures inside of a civilization, gotta make sure that they're creating the right structures. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got some youth, we got people in Africa that taking some of the bad things from the Western civilization, can't be having that be implemented for the future. That's very important. Like, you got some drugs that wasn't even started inside of Africa, like codeine and all that stuff. I think Zimbabwe had issues with a codeine and epidemic in their youth. All kinds of different things, even some of the culture with the music, with trap music. The expression of music is powerful. The expression of music is creative. And then there's a way to even make trap music. And, if that's your art, that you do that. But what are you saying in the songs? And is that how you live on your daily life? Like, are you living like that? Are you calling girls out of their names? Are you only living for money and guns and violence and all that other stuff? You know what I'm saying? Those are the things that don't need to stay there. Now, in reality, in order for those things to really stay out of the country, and I don't know if it's going to stay out completely, because I don't think so, because the Western world has a big influence on the entire world. Mm-hmm. No matter where you are, you can be in North Pole, you know what I'm saying? And if you have Wi-Fi, the Western world will have some type of influence on you. So there's a fight against that influence. But it's about the development of the country. The country needs to develop in certain areas. Gambia needs to develop in technology. Gambia needs to develop in schooling, and Gambia needs to develop in infrastructure. Not so much to the point where they lose their actual country, especially because Gambia is such a small country. So you don't want to build, and then it looks like a miniature New York City. You still want to have the villages, all that stuff. It's not about that. It's just about making sure that the country itself can be better. And I do feel like it might not happen tomorrow, but it is going to evolve into the right direction over time. It really is. And I do feel like there is a way to balance tradition and new. I feel like it happens naturally. However, unfortunately, the traditional, just to say the least, traditions, old people, very impatient, think that they have the authority, think that they have the say it, that goes, all of these things, So at the end of the day, I think we're moving in the right direction. This whole intention for this live stream was really just to put information out there that was positive, informative, educational, make people look at different perspectives. I think is really powerful. And I thank you guys. I thank you, Alaji. Thank you, Bo-Katan, and thank you, Bo-Katan Crees. Thank you for you guys' input. Mango, you guys really helped me and help the people who are watching as well. Whether they agree or disagree, doesn't matter. Making some kind of progress here. So thank you. Did you guys have any last words to say?
Yeah, I definitely have. I just want to thank you. I just want to thank you so much, for having me on your platform. It's such an amazing topic, and I know I'm not the one only one Gambian who is qualified to talk on this topic, but I know for the fact that you chose me, I really appreciate this, and let's do this more often. We need to talk as youth of Africa. We all we got. You know what I mean? So we have to talk to each other. We have to talk to the youth of Africa. We have to enlighten us. So that our future can be different. Whatever we're going through right now as youth, we don't. Our younger ones don't have to go through it. And we be more pragmatic. I know it's good to talk, but then we have to put that talk into use. That is, if we're talking about investing, let's invest back home. Let's try to know, no matter how small it is, no matter what it is, just do it, because you don't know how it's going to end. That's very important. That's the only way we're gonna have, because I always say this, in order for us to have a financial independence, we have to be able to control our markets. If we don't control our markets, it's never gonna happen for us. And if we do that, it's not only gonna benefit us, but it's gonna benefit the people on the continent, the young ones on the continent. They'll be able to have something out there that they're gonna hold on to. And then when they do that, we're not going to be having a lot of them going to back way to die. You know what I mean? Because most of the times, a lot of people die. We all been affected. We're not, most of the times, when we say we are in America, we saying these kind of things, people be like, oh man, you in America, that's why you're talking like that. But nah, man, this is not a choice. It's a choice. It's a choice to come to America. But when we had it, we had it out, what America have, when we have that, we're not gonna come here. I understand that. But then if we don't have to, go out there and die, when we know 95% we're gonna die. 95% that we're gonna die. We don't have to go through that, you know what I mean? Let's, be receptive about this kind of conversation when we're having, like you said, we can criticize each other. But the most important thing is, the message that we're trying to put out there. Let's know that it's all education. We gotta educate ourselves and educate other people. And thank you so much for doing it, man. Blooming, man, you're doing great. And then I think a lot of your subscribers, if people are whoever is watching that right now, if you're not a subscriber, you have to subscribe to this channel. This channel is very educative, and we need to be doing more of this, man. Thank you so much once again.
Yes, you're very welcome. And I do trust you. It's a very proactive, productive type of conversation. No gossip and no drama, none of that. It has to be proactive, And if you're not subscribed to Peer Talk, make sure you support our brother here, Alaji Jawara, and subscribe to Peer Talk, where he talks to peers, youth, and he instills, educates, he hosts different people who are doing things in Gambia, who have businesses in Gambia, different people who have different entrepreneur projects in Gambia to help Gambia. He interviews the youth that are doing things in Gambia. So make sure that you actually subscribe to his channel. It's going to be at Peer Talk. That's what it's called, right? Just Peer Talk.
Yeah, just Peer Talk, one word.
Okay, one word, no space in between. Did you have anything to say? Any closing words? Bakatan Free? Right?
Okay. Nice to meet you, Alaji, and it's a good thing what you're doing as well, bringing consciousness and not necessarily Pan-African, but bringing the conversation to the youth down at the ground. Because a lot of our youth, it's not just Gambians, black youth, they're very impressionable. They're very impressionable. They can get ideas of that and think this is what is cool. You understand? But in order to keep, I'm not a traditionalist, I'll tell you, I'm not a traditionalist. But in order to keep good traditions that we have, we must promote them. You understand what I mean? Ask the people questions. Ask them questions. What do you think about this? We must promote what is positive about the Gambia to the youth to counterbalance what the West is coming from the West. So in order for people to have pride, the people need to have pride in what they are, who they are, and all that stuff. In order to be able to not just completely latch onto something that's new. Latch onto something that's new, that's coming from elsewhere. So I think that is the way to go with Gambia. We need to promote more positive things about the Gambia, the more positive traditional values about the Gambia. I think Gambia has a lot to learn by looking at Japan, for instance. By looking at Japan, Japan is a great country that has money to mix traditional and modernism in a way. You understand? But they don't. They have a place and time for it, and they don't let it overlap over everything. You understand? So from my point of view, I think Gambia definitely has to prepare for the new changes about to happen, because they are about to happen. They're about to happen. And for what young Gambians like you can do is definitely just keep going, keep pushing the message on, and that's it. That's all I'm gonna say. I'm usually a controversial person, but I'll hold back today.
All right.
Drama is good. Drama is good
Maybe it's
sometimes
because
because it
you
makes us think
agree.
different.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's important to have that back and forth and stuff like that, as long as people are actually listening and it's not
Exactly.
one-sided, you know what I mean? And it's productive. Okay. It's not just entertainment, drama, entertainment and stuff. It's not going nowhere. It's not even educating anyone if it's like that. But thank you guys so much for tuning in. Thank you everyone in the chat. Make sure you subscribe to Jawara. Make sure you thumbs up this video. Really appreciate you guys coming in and supporting. And I'll see you guys next time, okay? Thank you.
Cheers.
Bye-bye.